I have a strong feeling that many of you will relate in some way to this video. I interview Charlotte, a 32-year-old woman from Sweden who opens up about her personal journey towards figuring out if child-free life was for her. We dive into her friendships, her experiences, conversations with her partner, and the anxiety that can be present when you are wondering if you are making a giant mistake. Charlotte is also a member of my program and private community, Is Child Free for Me? So she reveals what helped her navigate this life-altering decision. Let me introduce you to Charlotte, who is a member of my program. Charlotte is from Sweden. She's a 30-year-old woman who I met less than a year ago. She booked a call to talk about whether my program was right for her. And for those of you who don't know, I have a program. It's called Is Child Free for Me? And it's a program in a private community to help women find their peace and confidence with the child-free path. So hi, Charlotte.
Hi, Veronica.
I am so happy that you're here. I think that people will be really interested in your personal child-free journey. There's a lot to unpack and a lot to say about it. I thought it would be good if we just went back to when we originally met. And it's so funny because you're in Sweden, I'm in the US, but at this point, I feel that we're such close friends at this point. It's really interesting. And I feel that way with all the members in the program, right? Like if somebody needed a place to stay, like they could just stay in my house. That's where we are. When we originally met, tell me how you were feeling at the time and what was going on. I know that you were already married, correct?
Yes, I've been married for 3-4 years now. We never really talked about having kids. We were more like, oh, we'll get them later. And then my best friend got pregnant and she had like this baby craze. And she was so obsessed with having a child. And that really freaked me out. I was like, is this now? Am I supposed to do this now?
Is it my turn?
Yeah, but like then I realized, I was 28 at that time, and this is the time when you get kids. And I was like, no, I'm not ready at all. And I started to panic so much, and I couldn't understand why. So I was in contact with the therapist at the time, and we discussed it through. So I got through like where some of my anxiety stemmed from and why I really don't want it. But it didn't really give me all of the answers. So I was still having a lot of anxiety around, is it okay if I don't have a kid? Like, will I regret it? And all these frustrating thoughts.
No, absolutely. I can relate because I went through it for, 10 plus years. But explain to me more about what the anxiety was.
Before my friend got pregnant, I didn't think about it at all. But because she got pregnant, it was like, oh, I need to think about this now. I need to make a decision. I had anxiety about it every day, basically. And I just couldn't settle in myself. Like, how do I feel about this? I had this, oh, but I should have kids. It will probably be good. But then I had constantly this inner panic, just no. And also people just saying to me, oh, you will regret it if you don't. It affects you. Like if everyone says
really
that, it does affect you.
Yeah, I think if everyone keeps delivering the same message to you, eventually you start to say, well, this message must be true. And maybe there's something wrong with me. And my feelings are incorrect or they're off. My thought process is off because everyone around me is telling me that I'm making a bad decision and I'm going to regret it and I'm going to live this miserable life. So it gets very confusing for sure. Sometimes when people give you unsolicited advice, we can take that with a grain of salt, if it's in business or if it's in other areas of your life. But when it comes to this serious life-altering, life-changing decision, those comments and those questions really just get into your soul.
And then also
absolutely.
Like another large part was I didn't have anyone close by who didn't have kids. So I couldn't talk to anyone. I didn't even know that that was a thing, really. So like can you do that? Like, do I even
Right.
have the option? Like, is this
Right.
normal? So I was feeling alone also in these thoughts.
It's so interesting because sometimes I'll get DMs or messages or even comments here on YouTube that, I don't know what you're talking about. Everything's fine. Like, no one criticizes this. Everyone's very clear on what it is. And it baffles me when I get those comments and questions because there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of women like us who went through this gray zone area where you're just ruminating and ruminating and ruminating and you can't figure it out. you can't figure it out because you're just driving yourself
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. So tell me what motivated you to book the initial call with me.
It was like a leap of faith, I guess. I mean, I think we talked
Mhm.
a few weeks prior to that call where you just want to
Mhm.
do like some market research, basically.
Yeah, I was in the middle of my market
Yeah.
research. And just for people who don't know, before I launched my program, I spent about 10 months or so just speaking to women around the globe to make sure that I was going in the right direction, right? Like I had an idea of what the program was and what the community was. But yeah, you are one of the people in my market research study. And so we had spoken initially, and then we had a second call.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
you kind of mentioned in the first call, like, oh, would you be interested in a program if there was one? And that
Hmm.
started my thoughts. Like, I was like, oh, yeah, that could be good. It wasn't something I decided on, but I thought about it a lot. And then when you reached out about the program, I was like, yes, I have to do this, basically. I was
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
nervous, like, because it's a big leap and you never know. Like, worst case
No.
scenario, it's a scam.
Yes. I mean, I hear that from everyone. They're like, I don't know. Maybe you're just like,
But like, uh,
yeah.
considering your like social media presence and what you have built, it didn't feel
Hmm.
like a scam like that. It was a leap of faith, but it was still like, it's probably not a scam.
I'm interested to hear, like, for you, what were you trying to get out of it for what was your personal need and personal goals?
I had like a New Year's resolution basically to take care of myself more. And this was
Hmm.
a step in that direction to understand myself and calm myself, like calm the anxiety, and
Yeah.
also do something for myself.
Yeah, it definitely is an act of self-love. It's just so ingrained in you to take care of others that it's really hard to, okay, I'm going to do something for
Yeah.
myself. What would you say that you were hoping for this to be in addition to like calming yourself down?
Yeah, I mean, it was nerve-wracking, but also kind of exciting, I think, because you had really done the research. I could tell you
Mhm.
did the whole walkthrough where we were supposed to do every session, what we were supposed to talk
Mhm.
about. It felt really worked through. In your research, found so many interesting facts about how society works, how child-free
Mhm.
people have been throughout the years, like the ages, everything like that. So
Mhm.
it was super, super interesting. So I was very excited to be starting after that first session. And also,
Oh,
like,
good.
it felt nice that you weren't going to do it alone, that you could talk about it with others in the same
Mhm.
seat as you.
So I feel what I saw is that everybody during the lounge sessions really started to bond immediately because everyone in our program is the same grayish zone, but with very different details. Everyone's story is so unique in their own way, but ended up in the same place due to various reasons in their life. And how did you feel about listening to their experiences versus what you were going through?
It was really refreshing for me to hear about other people's stories, other ways you can fall into the child-free life. It gave me such a
Mhm.
good understanding of people in general. You can never assume anything.
I know. I mean, we were blown away with some of the stories in our community. I mean, I know I
Oh, yeah.
was when people share. and people share so openly. So tell me about parts of the program. So whoever is watching right now, the program is a series of video sessions, pre-recorded video sessions that are there to really teach you about the fundamentals of what you just mentioned, the history of Childfree, and really define different areas that might be affecting you, whether it's your relationships, your friendships, whether it's biological clock, whether you're feeling not normal, why are you feeling this way? Why are you feeling so alone? So for you personally, what started coming together for you?
Biggest part for me was when I learned about like how society is just pestering you with all of this. Be a mother,
Yeah.
marketing, propaganda, whatever you want to call it. The biggest light bulb for me, as you know, was when I realized, oh, it's just directed towards everyone, not me personally. Even though I feel it's like
Yeah.
it's an individual sign for me, it's just for everyone. It doesn't have a goal, it doesn't have a specific group they're targeting.
It makes you feel lighter because once you realize that so many women are feeling the same and also feeling the same about all the pronatalism that's coming at them, then you're right. And you were the first person to say that. It's like, wow, it's not just me. It's just women in
Oh
general,
yeah.
really. I think we can generalize it and just say
Yeah.
women. One thing that we talked about early on was that this isn't a program to try to convert people,
No.
like follow my ways, come to the light.
Yeah. Mm.
And that was something I was concerned with because I wanted to make it very, very, very clear that that's not what this is about. I'm just here to support and guide you, but this is ultimately about you. You're the one. We have a workbook section of the program where there's a lot of questions for reflection and answers. My core intention with this program is that people did not feel that they had to be child free at the end of the day, that I was trying to make them child free. So I just want to get your perspective on that.
I think you succeeded in being pretty neutral. I mean, of
Hmm.
course, this program is designed for those who are at least are considering child-free life. So I mean, it's
Yes.
somewhat, of course, but it's still very
Yeah.
open and you can
Hmm.
openly discuss about things. You have these snapshot baby moments that you may wanna live out and talk about like
Hmm.
the longing for that or like the feeling of being pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that's why I'm so focused on that section because I always felt that if you want to learn about motherhood, it's very accessible. A lot of us in the program have nieces and nephews that we're very close to, or mentoring a young adult, or just have a connection. We have teachers who have their students, and even our family. Like we see when they raise their children, what it's like. Like we actually have a front row seat. Okay, we get this, right? But for me, and you can tell me about you, is I was very in the dark when it came to if I make this choice, what is this going to even look like?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, for me, it was like getting the opportunity to really go through all of the different aspects of having a kid versus not having a kid. Like really
Hmm.
preparing myself mentally to what this choice would mean for me in the
Hmm.
future and now. So it gave
Hmm.
me like everything really I needed to know for myself. Like you are giving all
Hmm.
the answers, but like I found out the answers for me through this program.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
also what's important, I think if you still go through this program and decide you want to have a kid, I mean, you
Hmm.
have done so much research on yourself, on soul searching, whatever, that if you go
Hmm.
through this program and want a kid, you know you really do want a kid. Like it's not gonna
Yes.
stop you from wanting to have a kid
Yeah.
if that's the case.
No.
It's just gonna
I
make
think
you
it's going to bring more
Oh
clarity,
yeah, it's gonna
right?
make you have like
Yeah.
an informed decision about getting
Yeah.
children. This is really about getting me to make an informed decision.
It's just about having choice and have the information to make that decision and the support and the
Oh
community.
yeah.
Tell me how you actually, let's talk about first your partner, your husband, what was his take on this?
Well, he thought it was a great idea, actually. He was the one encouraging me to actually do this, take this program, because I was like, oh,
Mhm.
hesitating. Oh, should I do it? And he was like, yes, you should do it because you obviously
Okay.
need this. Like, do something for yourself. And I was like, yeah, you're right.
It's probably like it's probably an interesting for some of the husbands or partners because now that their wife has an outlet where she can just talk about this a lot and she doesn't have to come to me every single time too. So they get a little bit of a break
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's really funny. Although they're listening and they're supportive, I'm
Mhm.
sure, but I think it's nice to have a separate than your partner.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because we've talked about this in our lounge sessions that relationships are top priority for all of us,
Oh, yeah.
really. And how does that affect you as far as wanting to focus on your relationship versus making the decision to have a child? And did that go through your mind of like how that's going to affect your relationship?
Put a lot of time
Hmm.
and energy in each other. And like, it's
Yeah.
so easy to just slip away and just neglect each other. You get, the work grind, like the every day, just cleaning, cooking, whatever. So
Yeah.
it's easily done to just follow
Focus
apart.
on each
Yeah.
other.
But he
Hmm.
has been
Yeah.
super grateful for learning through me about this childhood journey. So he feels a lot more secure and informed. Also, even though he technically didn't go through the program, he still has learned a
Uh-huh.
lot and feels himself a lot more secure. So that's also very nice.
Did you feel inside that magical day is going to come when you wake up and you're like, okay, I'm ready to be a mom? Did you feel that that day could maybe come in the future?
Yeah, I mean, before my best friend got pregnant, I felt like that. I was like, yeah,
Mm.
I'm definitely not ready right now. We had a pregnancy scare, and I was like, no, 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 no. So, but that was like in my early 20s, and it's like, yeah, most
Yeah.
people don't. Yeah, it's pretty
No,
early. Yeah.
terrifying. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
thought, oh, it'll come when I'm
Yeah.
30
At
or
some
whatever.
point.
And then it never came. I don't feel any deep pull from within me to have like a kid.
I know that for you, most of the struggle was going on internally, which is actually very common because sometimes women feel, well, I'm not getting pressured from my partner. I'm not getting pressured from my parents. So I must be fine. But they're not sleeping. They're thinking about it at work. They're ruminating. They're just driving themselves crazy. And that internal pressure to me is just as heavy, if not heavier, than getting pressure from parents and siblings and family. What was holding you back from saying to yourself, this is what I want to do?
Part of it is like I think I didn't really know myself as well as I
Mm,
needed to. So I feel like just as you've mentioned that I'm very maternal in my ways. So like isn't this
mhm,
supposed to be natural for me? Am I not like
mm.
this is gonna be so easy probably because I'm a natural at it, whatever. So that was
Yeah,
sort of also keeping me back because I am maternal and I still like
yeah,
maybe don't have that big of an interest in kids. But yeah, it's was a
yeah. When people say that you're selfish, being a child-free woman is very selfish, and how does that make you feel, and what does that make you think about?
I don't get it at all because like how is it selfish to not bring a child into the world that you don't want? And
Mhm.
how is it considered not selfish to bring a child into the world because you want it? Like, how is
Right.
that not selfish? Also, you could consider having a kid without properly thinking it through, like
Mm,
thinking through every aspect. You can call that selfish, just to get a kid and see what happens. Yeah,
mhm.
that's probably the next
Right.
step to just make an uninformed decision. Like, I don't understand it. I'm making a decision for myself that's gonna make my
Mhm.
life and the world around me better.
This word bothers me so much because it's just weaponized against child-free women. And to me, it's so clear that we're all selfish and selfless at the same
Yeah.
time. And What's wrong with
Yeah.
that? Yeah. There are so many women like us, like so many. I find that they tend to not speak as loudly and they tend not to show their voice as much because of the stigma and because of, well, I'm not sure. So therefore, I'm just going to internalize this and then get all the symptoms that come with
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So I wonder why, what do you think that women who are in this, I'm leaning towards, I think I want to be child free or I am child free, but my mind keeps bouncing back to, am I making the biggest decision of my life? How did you feel about it?
I mean, part of it is like you think you're very alone in it and that no one else experienced it, and you don't really
Mm-hmm.
want to be that vulnerable with people that you don't really know how
Mm-hmm.
they're going to react. And also because the
Mm-hmm.
narrative is the way it is in society. For me, it was also part like I was very outspoken with most people, but for certain people, it's like if I say this now, I know what answer I'm gonna get. It's like, oh, well, you'll
Mm-hmm.
change your mind. It's gonna be better.
Yeah.
And like
Yes.
it's a
You're
natural
too
thing
young.
for women.
Yes.
Like you
Yes.
know what they're gonna say. And that thing that stopped me also a couple of times. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
combined with being alone, like you since you don't really freely talk about it, and I think that's a shame.
And I think also because you're not exactly giving a stage to voice your opinion
No.
on, but there, it's just the opportunity isn't really there to say, I'm really struggling with this. I want this, but I'm getting pulled in this direction. And maybe that's right for me. How do you even bring that up? And you're right. I don't think I had a conversation with one single person when I was going through it. Now that I think about it, I don't think I did. What's your answer to people saying that we're avoiding responsibility?
No, we're taking responsibility for our actions, I would say. I mean, we
Right.
are super
Right.
informed. I'm more
Yeah.
informed about having kids than my other friends that want kids.
Mm-hmm.
I have a person close to me who is like, "Oh, I really want a baby," and I know their like background story or everything that's happening in their life, and I'm just like, "Have you thought about this? Your relationship with your partner, or like your mental health, or whatever?" And they're like, "Oh
Right.
no, but I want kids," and it's like, just think it through. Like, of course, if you want kids, get kids, but make sure that you're
Yeah.
doing it for the right reasons.
And by the way, I got the from my family too, the you'll just figure it out. And that, how do you feel about that piece of advice?
I mean, I got that comment. Like, the person I was talking was like super acceptive of my choice. There was no issue in that.
Mhm.
But then I said, like, she asked, "Oh, what is? Can you tell me any of the reasons behind it?" I was like, "Yeah, of course." And one of the reasons is like, "Yeah, I'm too tired. I don't have the energy." And she was like,
Mhm.
"No, that's not going to be a problem. It will work itself out." It's like, no, you don't understand how tired I am.
I mean, you have a very demanding
Yeah,
job.
I have a very
Mhm.
demanding job, and like I'm tired anyway without this demanding job, even after one night of too little sleep. Like I would
I
be
know.
so unhappy and just mentally gone.
Yeah. I just found it so strange that people thought my thinking this through so thoroughly was unnecessary. And tell me about when your friend became pregnant, did that affect your friendship in at all?
I was really scared at the start, like during her pregnancy, if we were going to fall apart. But I was also super clear, like, I am the friend that you can get a break from motherhood. Like, we can
Mhm.
talk about other stuff. And
Right.
said she knew I was leaning towards the child free direction. We communicated really well about it. So, yeah, and
Yeah.
then when the pregnancy like ended, she got the baby and she asked if it was okay if she could bring him along for like when we met. I was like, yeah, sure, just don't do it every time because the focus will be on the baby if you bring it
Yeah.
along. I mean, she did
Yes.
really well. She really put an effort into talking about other stuff.
Yeah.
So it went
That's great.
well.
It doesn't always go that great. I mean, we've heard it from other members of our community. It doesn't always work out that way. And I think that your point of setting boundaries and talking about it first before the baby even arrives, even is so valuable. But it's hard because when I was going through it, I was still so like jumbled up in my head that I didn't even have the knowledge or the idea that this is what I should do, because I was just like, oh my God, everyone's having a baby and everyone's having babies, and we have to just talk about their babies all the time because I'm the only one and everybody else is a mom. So it's hard to sometimes interject.
You have to make an effort yourself as a child-free person, because it's very easy for a mom to a newborn to talk about this sudden change in her life. As a child-free friend, you have to make an effort to come up with stuff to talk about, because it might not
Yeah.
always be easy for the other person.
So I'm curious to know, because the person that I spoke to that first time and the person that you are now is a completely different person. And I mean, your confidence has just shot through the roof, and not even just as a confident child-free woman, but just in so many other ways. It's been very, very obvious to us all. So tell me about that transformation.
At the start, when we had our first meetings, I was like super alone, as I mentioned, and super insecure, and just did not have anyone to talk about. Like, you get things from YouTube videos and reels and posts and whatever, but it's not the same as talking to another person. And also, like, just, will I regret it? Will I regret it? Like, is this, I need to make this decision now. Like, even if I have my whole life to make a decision, technically, I'm not fertile forever, but like, I don't
Yeah.
have to take it now. Like, I'm anxious not to be sure of myself, like to not know. That also creates a lot of anxiety. Not knowing myself or knowing where I was going was the start of it, so to say. And then the program started, and I got to talk to all of these lovely ladies, including you. You have been such a great help, seriously. And just going through all of these topics, these discussion points, talking and hearing the other women's perspectives and thoughts and reflections really, really helped. Not just like, not everything was an aha moment, like, but it
Right.
just helped me be calmer about it. And also, it's okay to talk about it and not know. It's okay to not know everything. It's okay to um, experience differently than others. Like, no person is the same, but we're just here
Mhm.
to support each other and just learn about people and society in general and ourselves. It was really, really, really sneaky. I didn't really notice it until like at the end. I was like, yeah, I feel completely different about it than I did at
Yeah.
the start. So, yeah, but it helped a lot just to talk about your thoughts, your insecurities, whatever popped up that week, any
Mhm.
disturbing advertisement you've just seen or posts on Facebook or Instagram or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
So it
So
just,
we also have a private Facebook group
yeah.
that all of us share interesting things on. So
Yeah,
that's
I
fun
mean,
too.
that helped just
Yeah.
to be able to tackle together and talk through things that just happened in the weeks. Helped a lot,
Mhm.
because usually, like, if I wasn't in a program, I would have to do that all alone, and that's difficult
Yeah.
if you don't know. Like, if you get another person's perspective on it, it's a lot easier
Yeah.
to see it in a different light and understand it in a different way.
As you say, you can listen to all the podcasts, read all the books, watch all the videos, but it's not the same as, okay, now I have questions and I want to talk about this and I want to hear what other people have to say about it. So the community support and the chats are so much, you can go so much deeper after you watch something. You could even share it in the group. People have shared like, look at this, right? And this made me feel this way. And it's nice to have that outlet.
Yeah, and you were also really good at asking questions. It's really
Yeah,
helpful.
absolutely. Because it's more about, like we talked about, it's more about self discovery,
Oh, yeah.
right? I'm just asking the questions to help all of you just sort this stuff out. Did that help you more, the fact that I lived through this for a too long of an extended time, so that every time someone shared a story, I'm like, yep, I was there. I felt that way too. I get it. So how did that feel for
Oh yeah,
you?
that was really good. Just to get confirmation that this happens to everyone, basically. And this
Mhm.
is more
Yeah.
people are going through this. It was really, really helpful to have someone
Yeah.
who has already been there, done that, and just here I am right now. And I still feel
Mhm.
like this. Yeah. If
Mhm.
I didn't join this program, probably would have spent like 5 or 10 years just having anxiety. And I was like, so glad I don't have that.
I know. I mean, it's true. It just keeps going. And that's the thing, too, that people think it's just going to magically go away. And it doesn't. If you don't take action on it, it doesn't go away. And that's just, a fact.
Oh yeah.
There has to be some steps taken in order to make yourself feel better and just have like you've mentioned, like that sense of peace of like, oh my God, everything coming at me just feels so differently
Oh
now,
yeah.
right? And we've talked about it, and I think we talked about it last week, how we have this like shield around us of empowerment, and that people can't penetrate us with their negative comments, with their condescending comments, with their invasive questions, because we're surrounded by this protective shield that makes us really empowered. We don't just talk about being child free or thinking about being child free or am I going to be child free. We talk about so many things. You said that women should know that this space is not only about
Oh
being
yeah.
child free,
Oh,
but there's an overarching element of just women
oh
empowerment,
yeah,
like women's
definitely.
empowerment. I think that that's really helpful as well,
Oh yeah.
because it's about not only being solid and confident and at peace with this decision, but I think it bleeds over to other areas of your life. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, definitely. We talked about so many different things. We talked about like
Hmm.
moving, buy a house, or like
Yeah.
finances, and like
Yeah.
contraception, like
Hmm.
periods, like
Yeah.
stuff like, and it just,
Everything.
yeah, just a lovely community where you could talk. It's such openness, seriously, and such positive energy and feelings and all of it. So, I mean, anything's open. We talked about trips and what we did this
Yeah.
weekend. Like, just
Yeah.
encouraging each other is awesome.
Right.
Seriously.
Under this umbrella of the program, it's deeper, and because it just comes up all the time when you have the questions, when you have the worksheet at the end that you need to fill out, and then plus your own journaling, you really do get to know yourself. And it's been such a privilege for me to see all of you just blossom and grow and feel so confident, and just, yeah, it's been amazing to watch. It's been an honor.
Starting the program and seeing the results and getting the support also made me want to continue to work on myself.
So what would you say to anyone that's considering entering the program but doesn't understand when you're actually in there, what's actually happening? How would you describe it to someone who's considering joining our community and applies to get an invite?
You will get so much support. You will get this community also who is just going to answer all of your questions, who's going to be there for you and give you the best advice and also like different perspectives of things. And Veronica here is also going to be the amazing guide and just help you through the journey and like go with you through every step of the way. You get so much more secure in yourself and in your decisions. So it's definitely worth it.
Thank you for being here, Charlotte, for sharing your personal story, for sharing your experience with Is Child Free for Me. I really appreciate the leap of faith and having the confidence in the program, in me, and in yourself among such an amazing group of women. So thank you for talking to me today so much.
I
Thank
love you all.
you. Bye.
Bye.
This conversation with Charlotte really enforced the importance of community and being surrounded with like-minded people. If you're also asking yourself, is child-free for me? Book a chat with me in the link in the description, and together we'll decide if taking the step is exactly what you need. And if you've been told that you'll regret your decision, watch this video next where I share 3 lessons that will help you tackle your fear of regret. We thank you, we appreciate you, and we're excited to see you next week.